Welcome to our review on designer polymers. So what we need to remember then is when we're thinking about polymers, different polymers have different properties. And what we'll find is that we're going to select certain polymers for certain jobs based on those properties. So in the table there, I've given you some information about two different polymers, LDPE and HDPE. So if we look at the LDPE, then if we were looking to decide what would be the best one to use to make carrier bags, LDPE would be our choice, because if you look at its flexibility, it's flexible. So if you imagine going to the shop and needing to put lots of different shaped items into a container, having something that's flexible is better. If, however, we wanted to make some garden furniture, for example, having it flexible would be terrible, because as soon as you sat on it, it would just collapse. Now, what we use then is HDPE because it's a very stiff material. So when you get one of these questions asking you what material you use for a certain job, think about what it has to do. Then match the information in the table there to that particular purpose and talk about those advantages. One polymer that you've almost certainly encountered in your everyday life is polystyrene. So we use polystyrene in protective packaging and as insulation. So what we actually find there is if you've got one of these new build houses, then under the main part of your house, under the big body of the floor there, you will have giant chunks of polystyrene to act as insulation for your home. We've also got a couple of other polymers, nylon and polyester, and those are fibres that we use to make different types of clothing. We use polymers in our clothing, and we need to know about two key terms associated with polymer clothing. First one is the word waterproof. So if we're talking about waterproof clothing, we're referring to a type of clothing that's going to stop water getting in when it rains, but it does not allow the sweat from our bodies to get out. If we compare that to the phrase breathable clothing, then that's going to stop water getting in as it rains, and it also lets sweat out, hence breathable. So breathable clothing is better than waterproof clothing because it does allow the sweat out. We've got two different types of polymers at the bottom there for you to compare. So on the left hand side we've got nylon. So that's waterproof, it's tough, it's lightweight, and it blocks the UV light. And on the right we've got Gore-Tex, which is waterproof, breathable, tough, lightweight, and blocks the UV light. So if you're thinking about the best outdoor clothing to wear, then Gore-Tex would be the choice, because in addition to the properties that they both share, it is also breathable. So that means that you're not going to have that unpleasant sweaty feeling building up if you're wearing those clothes outside and doing any form of exercise.